Queens Borough President Donovan Richards declared that Queens was under attack during his State of the Borough speech on Friday. Listen.
A man who has made clear he will stop at nothing to deport our neighbors, defund our borough, decimate our economy, and destroy our democracy. People like Donald Trump and Elon Musk so badly want us to buy what they're selling, from mass layoffs and deportations to gutting Medicaid and SNAP. But our borough is living proof that the blame deflection they peddle is pure BS. They are the problem. We are the answer.
Okay, the Borough President joining us this morning with more highlights from his speech. And Borough President Donovan Richards, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Morning. Good to see you.
And we'll get into what you talked about there about the Trump administration in a moment. But I want to begin right now this topic of crime and gun violence, given the recent shooting that we just heard about this off-duty police officer in Astoria yesterday. So when you look at it, is the city's blueprint to end gun violence something they've been talking about, highlighting? Is it having any impact on shootings, specifically in your borough?
Oh, absolutely. We're down 15%. Queens leads the city in crime reduction. I just had a great meeting with Police Commissioner Tisch just last week. And so this one shooting is too much. And once again, I always say that these guns are not being made in New York City, right? In New York State. They're coming up from the South. So we need to get a handle on these illegal guns that are making their way into our city.
But that's always been the topic of conversation, is this pipeline of guns, right? And I've heard about it since I've been a reporter. So how do you get to that pipeline? Once again,
every precinct in Queens is down in shootings, pretty much. So we've made a lot of progress this year, and one incident is too much. And listen, I'm here because my best friend was shot and killed in Southeast Queens in 2003. So I take this very seriously. But I have to commend the NYPD for all of the progress that we're making in this borough this year.
Yeah, well, I just want to quickly ask you about that shooting, though. Have you heard anything about these people of interest that were taken in? Anything about the motive?
Well, it's under investigation.
Yeah.
So it's under investigation. So we'll wait to hear a little bit more from the department. But I'm once again very proud of all the progress NYPD has made in our borough this year.
Can we talk about the numbers, though? Because based on the numbers from the Queens District Attorney's Office, your borough has the highest number of ghost guns, and that's 4 years in a row. So what's being done to address that issue?
Well, that's an issue that has to be addressed federally, right? These parts being made, and as the former public safety chairman of the city, and when I was in the city council, we did a lot to pass resolutions. But you really do need federal intervention on how these ghost guns are making their way into the city.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're chasing our tails. We're chasing our tails. That people can just buy these parts, but we really need the federal government to step up on this.
Yeah, again, and I don't mean to harp on it, but it goes back to something that it's been talked about, right? So with federal partners and without federal partners, is there a solution?
You have to address this federally. Ghost guns can be made in your home. That's the big problem, right? It's hard to trace and track people who are actually making these guns behind closed doors. So we really need to get at this from a federal level, regulating how people and monitoring how people buy these parts.
All right. In Friday's speech, we just heard it from you. You came out really swinging against the Trump administration, right? And specifically the immigration and deportation policies, which we've been laser focused on. So what kind of impact are you seeing that have, Borough President, on residents and businesses across Queens? Some who may be saying or are looking at what's happening and saying, well, with or without due process, I'm just scared to walk out the door.
Oh, it's a chill effect, absolutely, across the borough, especially, being the most diverse county in the United States of America, 190 countries, 360 languages representative in Queens. And, this is having an impact on small businesses. One of the biggest challenges, too, is people not going and getting care, right? So whether that's not showing up to the hospital, whether that's not calling the police department, regarding safety, because people are afraid that they'll be deported. We just saw the story of a 2-year-old being deported without even their parents and without due process. So we're doing everything we can to arm our communities with information. That's the most important thing right now. And just as I spoke about in my State of the Borough, putting hundreds of millions of dollars for centers across this borough.
Yeah, there is so much that we want to talk to you about, including that fight in Forest Hills over the concerts, the noise complaints. Well, the concerts are going to go on this summer, but a lot of the folks that live there, they're still not happy about it. So what do you say to those folks that are saying enough is enough already?
Well, I don't want to say a lot of people are not happy. I think there's a small amount of people with loud voices. And, you know, the Forest Hill Stadium is such an economic boom to our borough. You know, you think about how businesses see 30% increase in production when these contracts are in place. We talk about Queens being live, work, and play. And we want that to remain. So we want to address some of the issues, and I think Forest Hill Stadium has done a great job at trying to mitigate some of these issues, and we'll see some new equipment that they're working on now to even further soundproof during the summer. But absolutely, the concerts must go on. The show must go on.
Yeah, I mean, you saw in that video just how close some of those houses are.
Yeah.
But it is I'm sorry, but it is a great venue. I mean, I've been there for.
Well, the bottom line is like the stadium existed for how long, right?
Yeah.
Like 100 years. So I mean, if you moved in over there, it's like me living near the airport. Am I going to complain about airport noise? You know, maybe. Yeah, there's planes flying over my house all the time.
But have
So
you been?
live here.
But have you been to the speakeasy that's in Forest Hill Stadium? Did you know about it?
Oh, I'd love Forest Hill Stadium. I mean,
Do you know
listen,
about the speakeasy? Do you have a hookup?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Okay, great.
yes.
So can we get an invite? That's what I'm trying to get the invite.
Listen, this is a destination. We want people to spend their money in Queens. We should not have to pay a congestion pricing to get have some of the greatest entertainment.
It's like through a porta potty.
Look at that. I mean, well, you know, a lot of people will be spending time in Queens because how about them Mets, right? How about them Mets?
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Mets and Knicks.
Yes, I know.
That's right. All right, Queens Borough President Donovan Richards, thanks as always for spending part of your morning with us.
Yeah.